Life for London's poor is hard and getting harder. While some think that people who live on benefits have it easy, the reality is very different, particularly when it comes to housing. Rents in the capital are so high that families regularly use other benefits to supplement housing benefits. Now that housing benefits have been capped, many people will have to move from the centre to outer London, or away from London altogether. I'm Sandi Toksvig and I am one of the patrons of the Zacchaeus 2000 Trust, a London-based charity addressing poverty issues caused by unfairness in the law and in the benefits system. In the past few years, we at Z2K have seen our workload increase dramatically as a result of the economic crisis and the consequent welfare reforms. From April 2011, housing benefit was capped, putting 82,000 tenants across London at risk of losing their homes because their housing benefits no longer covered their rent.
Well, the impact is that most of those people are either leaving or are facing a kind of debt and homelessness crisis. And of course, one of the most dramatic changes as a consequence is what's happened to homelessness and bed and breakfast, with families now staying months and months with their children in ridiculously expensive bed and breakfast because they can't keep their flats any longer.
The housing benefit caps have meant that many families have found themselves homeless. Although local authorities have a duty to house these families, the accommodation they provide is not always appropriate.
We couldn't pay our rent because of housing caps, so Westminster put us in West Brighton. Bed and breakfast. It wasn't so suitable. Also, my son was seriously ill. He had a lot of appointments to central London, especially to Great Ormond Street Hospital. Because of that, he missed his appointments, and this all affected my son's health, and his health was worse. It was getting worse, and it was very upsetting.
And this isn't just a one-off. Temporary accommodation is all too often substandard or overcrowded.
And I give me one room and my 5 children. I sleep and my children one room, and a room you have plenty mouse. After 6 months, I get accommodation for Fulham for 6 months. After that, Westminster take me to give me accommodation, and I put me East Arm for 4 months. East Arm, I wake up 4 a.m. because my children's school in Westminster, easy for me. My son, Marvin, gets sick. He see a voice, he wants a suicide, kill himself.
Even those families lucky enough to have social housing don't all have it easy. 1,060,000 families live in overcrowded accommodation. This is worst in London, where 1 in 4 children grow up in overcrowded accommodation, an 18% increase in the last 3 years. This poses real dangers to children's health, educational attainment, and overall well-being.
I had a bedroom gazamna cancel flat أمت.
I'm living in a one-bedroom council flat with 3 children. 4 of us in a one-bedroom flat. This isn't enough for us. It's a very small flat. The children can't do their homework because they disrupt each other. And in the night, if one child wakes up, they all wake up, and then they're all awake all night. They're tired when they go to school in the morning, and then the school complains that they're too tired to do their work properly. This bed, this is for me and my oldest son and my oldest daughter. 3 of us share this bed, and the youngest one sleeps in the cot. Sometimes the older 2 fight, and then they wake up the youngest one, and then we're all awake all night.
While things can be bad in temporary or overcrowded accommodation, they're even worse on the streets.
At that time, I did not have any place to stay. I've been living rough in the streets. Every night, been woken up middle of the night by the police and other people, security guards. Even the security guards have kicked me a few times.
The impact of the housing benefit caps has been bad enough, but the overall benefit cap is even worse.
I'm the full-time carer of my disabled son, and the benefit cap that is coming into play is going to affect us in such a way that we'd either have to move or I'd have to put my son into care.
Many ask, why don't these people get a job? But with over 5 job seekers for every vacancy, it's not that easy.
So I go in there every day and apply for my jobs. I've been on BITC Ready for Work program as well, and I went on, for Christmas, I went on work placement with the Compass Group, but unfortunately they haven't got any full-time job at the moment.
So you'd say it's a real struggle to find employment?
Employment, yes.
How many jobs do you apply for on a weekly basis?
Ooh, on a weekly basis I would say, I've lost the touch, but I think last year I must have applied for at least between 360, 70 jobs, something like that.
So have these moves had an impact on people's ability to get or keep employment?
They certainly have. And I had a young woman who works in a school, a teaching assistant, who was told that she would be moved to Manchester, which of course would mean she couldn't work, and a gentleman who worked at the post office who was offered a property in Milton Keynes. And at one stage the council says perfectly reasonable for you to commute from Milton Keynes to London on a part-time postie's pay. In both cases, fortunately, I think we've got an outcome on those, but we do get these decisions, and people are being asked to commute ludicrous and completely unaffordable distances for relatively low-paid jobs.
So if life in London is such a struggle for some people, why should they not just move elsewhere? 2 key reasons are children and community.
As a former head teacher, I'm very concerned about the effects of the welfare reforms, what that'll have on children's education and their well-being. What children need above anything is stability, and they need to know that their family also feels secure and safe. If you have a community that is stable, then families develop networks, they feel supported, children feel supported in school because their parents feel part of a community, and children then thrive. If those communities are broken up, I think the effect on children and families will be devastating.
And London would lose too. Forcing lower income groups out of London will have a huge impact on the city's economic and cultural diversity.
Well, what we're seeing is an increasing number of lower income households in private rented property being forced to leave or becoming homeless. This has always been an area of exceptional economic, social and cultural diversity, and it's very hard to see how cuts of this scale are not going to have an impact upon that.
And do you think that's a bad thing?
Well, I do, because inner London is a diverse area, and its diversity is part of its cultural strength, its economic strength. It's what makes our city great.